Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. My name is Rajinder Saini, and I am the Member of Parliament for Mississauga-Malton. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming here today. And a very happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, including my dad, who's hopefully watching right now. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we're gathered here today on the traditional and unceded treaty lands, which are the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the traditional lands of the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe. I'd like to begin today by introducing our speakers here today. I have the Honorable Dominic LeBlanc, the Minister of Public Safety, Democratic Institutions, and Intergovernmental Affairs. The Honorable Anita Anand, President of the Treasury Board of Canada. The Honorable Harjit Sajjan, President of the King's Privy Council for Canada, and Minister of Emergency Preparedness, and the Minister responsible for the Pacific Economic Development Agency of Canada, and the Honorable Kamal Khera, our local minister, the Minister of Diversity, Inclusion, and Persons with Disabilities. We also have a lot of members of Parliament here. We have Sonia Sidhu, we have Maninder Sidhu, Yvonne Baker, Shafkat Ali, and Francesco Sorbera. We also have Graham McGregor, Parliamentary Assistant to the Solicitor General of Ontario, an MPP for Brampton North, and we have Mayor Patrick Brown, Mayor of the City of Brampton. Welcome, everyone. As the Member of Parliament for this riding, I know that while auto theft has worsened across the country, the residents of Peel Region and of Mississauga-Malton in particular are uniquely affected. I've met with constituents who tell me that they're anxious about parking their cars in their driveway overnight, and that they're worried that it might not be there the next morning when they leave for work. The numbers are stark, and with Pearson Airport acting as a transport hub so close by, we see some of the worst rates of auto theft here in this region where we are. That's why our government convened an emergency national summit on combating auto theft in February. We got everyone in one room and we discussed why auto theft has worsened and what we can do about it. And there were a lot of takeaways, including in this year's federal budget, which boosts resources for organizations to fight auto theft on the ground. But what we also heard at the summit is that there are ties between organized crime and auto theft. And this is why we announced an action plan on combating auto theft, and it targets this link in particular, the one between organized crime and auto theft. But we know that more needs to be done, and that's exactly why we are all gathered here today. I'd like to introduce the first speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce Dominic LeBlanc, the Minister of Public Safety, Democratic Institutions, and Intergovernmental Affairs, to say more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajinder. I'm so happy to be here in Mississauga on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Happy Father's Day as well to all the dads who are here. I'm happy to be with so many of my colleagues from the House of Commons. I'm also happy to be here with Graham McGregor. Graham, thank you for joining us. The Parliamentary Assistant for the Solicitor General and an MPP from Brampton. Mayor Brown, Patrick, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for your leadership on this critical issue, collaborating with your municipal government and municipal governments in the GTA and the Peel Regional Police and other police forces in the area is critical to getting this right. So thank you for joining us as well. And I'm also joined obviously by senior officials of the Canadian Border Services Agency. I joked when we arrived, thank you for taking a precious Sunday afternoon to be here for this important moment. A few weeks ago, I was pleased to join many of my colleagues who are here today, and Mayor Brown, of course, at Brampton City Hall to unveil the National Action Plan on Combating Auto Theft that Rajinder referred to a minute ago. And today we're back in Peel Region to announce a significant development in the implementation of that plan. Mayor Brown, as well as many of my colleagues from the GTA, have personally conveyed to me and to our colleagues in the government that auto theft was a very significant source of concern for many of their constituents. Getting your vehicle stolen is much more than a mere inconvenience. A vehicle is a necessity for many Canadians to get to work or to get to school, to drop the kids off at daycare or take them to a soccer practice, or even to attend medical appointments. It's also an affordability issue because it makes insurance premiums go up for everyone as auto thefts increase. That's why last February, as Ickwinder said, we convened a national summit on combating auto theft. And since then, we've been working on ways to disrupt, dismantle, and prosecute organized crime groups involved in auto theft. And today, you can see behind me, we're adding a significant tool to our toolbox. On that note, I'm pleased to announce that a mobile X-ray scanner is being deployed here in the Greater Toronto area to help the Canadian Border Services Agency examine export containers for stolen vehicles. Our partnership, as I said, with regional police forces, with the RCMP as well, is essential in terms of gathering the intelligence necessary to interdict and intercept these stolen vehicles, ideally before they leave the GTA and arrive at some port to be exported potentially to other parts of the world. Leadership in the work to reduce car theft and hold accountable before the criminal justice system the perpetrators of this increasingly violent crime. So today is an important moment. This scanner has arrived and will be, as I said, deployed at various locations in the GTA. We're working on, and I shared with my colleagues and the mayor and with Graham as well, additional, more mobile technology that we hope to have in place also in the next month or two, which will be, again, another tool, in addition to the one behind us today, for the CBSA to work with police partners to scan these containers, to return the stolen vehicles to their lawful owners, to hold accountable the criminals undertaking this exercise, and hopefully to prevent these vehicles from arriving at ports for export. It's a lot easier, a lot simpler, and a lot more cost effective to interdict the vehicles in containers at intermodal terminals and other spots in the GTA. So with that, thank you very much, and I'm now happy to ask my colleague, Anita Anand, to say a few words. Anita.
And their well-being is being threatened. And certainly in my riding of Oakville, not far from here, and the broader GTA, we have seen the impact that auto theft is having on families, on their well-being, and on their sense of security. En tant que ministre député, je sais qu'il nous faudra tout collaborer à chaque niveau de gouvernement et avec nos services de police régionaux afin que chacun puisse faire sa part pour mettre un frein au vol de voitures. Most recently in Oakville, I have held numerous conversations with my municipal and provincial counterparts, as well as the frontline enforcement officers and the auto manufacturers and dealers. All of us as stakeholders have a concern to continue to collaborate to reduce the impact of auto theft on our communities. What I am hearing is that our federal plan is working, but we cannot take our foot off the gas pedal just yet. And as a result, joint operations among law enforcement agencies have indeed led to the recovery of over 1,300 stolen vehicles just this year, with 452 vehicles being recovered for the GTA alone.
Hello everyone. I just want to thank you for having me here today. It's great to be here with my friends and colleagues. When it comes to challenges that are impacting Canadians, it is not one level of government's problem. We all need to band together and work together and come together, and that's what today is about. Because we know that auto theft is on the rise, and it's affecting far too many Canadians. And we know that it demands an all-hands-on-deck solution. As a former police officer from Vancouver, I know firsthand the impacts of auto theft and other organized crimes actually has on Canadians. When I worked, especially when in the guns, gangs, and organized crime as part of the gang crime unit, and I know all too well how crime, especially auto theft, is a complex endeavor. And too often, the act of auto theft itself is only one aspect of a very intricate web of organized crime, violence, how money is also laundered as well. Now, as you have just heard, we're taking concrete action to stop these crimes, and we'll leave no stone unturned to manage this challenge. Now, the deployments of the X-ray scanners, as my colleague Dom had just mentioned, will go a long way towards detecting stolen vehicles and will be leveraged alongside many of the other efforts that are being put forward at every level of government. Now, building on the National Summit on Combating Auto Theft in early February, we recently launched the National Action Plan Against Combating Auto Theft. Now, this plan takes a very multifaceted approach. Now, that means legislative changes, it means toughening penalties for auto theft, and also tightening the controls on devices that are used to actually steal the vehicles themselves. It means also means enhanced intelligence and information sharing. And it means leveraging technology, like we see in today's announcement, to better detect stolen vehicles at the ports of entry. And this is on top of the ongoing initiatives that have already been announced, like the $250 million, the Building Safer Community Fund, the $390 million initiative to take action against gun and gang violence. Now, both of these are designed to get straight to the root causes of gang activity and organized crime.
Thank you so much, Akwinder. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Father's Day and Eid Mubarak to all those celebrating. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge all of our colleagues here this afternoon, Minister LeBlanc, Minister Sajjan, Minister Anand, and of course our Liberal caucus members alongside MPP Graham McGregor and Mayor Patrick Brown. It's always good to see you. I think here in the region of Peel, we know extremely well the impact that auto theft can have on families and our community. We know that this is a serious issue that requires serious results right here in our community. And that is exactly why, as a federal government, we are stepping up and showing leadership through our National Action Plan on Combating Auto Theft, which we announced a few weeks ago in the city of Brampton. Now, through this comprehensive plan, we are taking a Team Canada approach, working alongside all orders of government, federal, provincial, municipal, alongside law enforcement agencies, auto industry, the insurance sector, and stakeholders to deliver real solutions on auto theft for residents here in the region of Peel and Canadians right across this country. I think we all also know extremely well that auto theft isn't just about property theft. It is a complex issue that involves well-organized criminal groups and gun violence. And as a result, it requires a Team Canada effort. Now, only with strong coordination can we ensure better action on the ground to retrieve stolen vehicles and to arrest the criminals involved, while also taking a broader problems-based approach to organized crime and gun violence. And that is exactly what we have been doing over the last few months. Since holding the first ever National Summit on Combating Auto Theft in February and launching our action plan, we have seen some important progress, as some of my colleagues have already indicated. We have seen the impact that stronger coordination can have, with the members of the Peel Regional Police alongside border agencies, with Project Volcano and Project Vector, which has allowed authorities to recover thousands of stolen cars and arrested dozens of suspects over the last few months. And thanks to the immediate action that our federal government took, with our $121 million to prevent gun gang violence in Ontario and an investment of $28 million for the CBSA, police are now better equipped to prevent and detect auto theft. And today, with the announcement that Minister LeBlanc just made about the deployment of the mobile X-ray scanner to the Greater Toronto area, it is another tool in our toolbox to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to tackle this issue. Now, this cutting-edge technology will increase the number of containers being examined here in GTA and will prevent cars from leaving our community. This is yet another important step in our work to dismantle and to disrupt auto theft right here in our region. Now, moving forward, we will continue, as we have, to lead a Team Canada approach, working with all players from every level of government to ensure that we are delivering real results for Canadians. Because at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that our community members here in the region of Peel and all Canadians feel safe in their homes, on their streets, and their neighborhoods. Thank you. Merci. And with that, allow me to turn things over to my provincial colleague, MPP McGregor.
Good afternoon, everybody. Before I start my formal remarks, I just want to give a shout out to the Edmonton Oilers. While we're here sending a message to organized crime that we won't stand for it any longer, I think they sent a pretty clear message to the Florida Panthers that series ain't over. And just how we want to keep cars in Canada and not shipping off to a foreign country. I think we all agree the Stanley Cup belongs here in Canada, not in the United States of America. So let's go Oilers. Happy Father's Day, Eid Mubarak to those celebrating. I'd like to acknowledge our federal ministers, Minister LeBlanc, Sejan, Anand, Kara, the MPs that are here with us. When we have this much federal firepower in Peel region, it's always a good day for us locally. And ministers, I've got a ton of federal investments we can talk about after for our community in Brampton. I'd also like to acknowledge our rock star Mayor Brampton, Patrick Brown, who I'm very glad I'm speaking before because he's a tough act to follow. So it's always a good day when I get to lead off before he goes. To all of our emergency service personnel, the CBSA, and all the frontline police officers in Peel region and across the GTA that may be watching from home, just thank you for your dedication to protecting and serving our communities and to securing our borders. The Ontario government, under the leadership of Premier Doug Ford, is forever grateful for your duty to service over self. Cars are being stolen from our driveways and garages. Violent criminals are carjacking vehicles in the middle of intersections, sometimes with families still in them, and this has got to stop. Our stolen vehicles are being exported in shipping crates from the Port of Montreal to continents across the ocean. Many stolen cars make their way to the Port of Montreal through rail yards in Brampton and in York region. This is why Ontario has been calling on the federal government to beef up security measures at our rail yards and our ports. Now, Ontario recognizes the federal government's sense of urgency and renewed sense of urgency and commitment to working together to end this crime. A day to get a scanner like the one behind us here today in the GTA is a very positive step. And although stolen vehicle exports is a federal responsibility, Ontario's been doing our part to prevent further auto thefts within our communities. In 2023, Ontario announced a $51 million investment dedicated to dismantling auto theft crime. This funding was used for a few purposes. One, to create the organized crime towing and auto theft team led by the OPP. We spent $18 million on an auto theft grant for local police services so they could create dedicated auto theft units. And we built first of its kind auto theft prosecution teams so that we can be more confident than ever that these criminals will remain locked up behind bars when our police services lay a charge. It's one thing to arrest a criminal, but as we all know, keeping them behind bars is another challenge. That's why Ontario invested an additional $112 million to strengthen our bail system. And this funding supports police units and prosecution teams dedicated to going after bail offenders, but that isn't all. In 2024, in our budget, we announced a further investment, $46 million, to purchase 4 police helicopters for GTA police services. These police helicopters will improve community safety and counter auto theft and organized criminal operations. Altogether, our investments will enhance on-the-ground and in-the-air operations to effectively combat auto thefts. The message in Ontario is clear. If you steal a car, we will lock you up. But more needs to be done at our rail yards and ports. And Ontario continues to call on our federal partners to purchase new scanners for the CBSA instead of redistributing existing ones. And this includes dedicated scanners at the Brampton and York Region rail yards and various ports, including in Montreal. Further action also needs to be taken to keep auto theft criminals behind bars instead of letting them out on bail, to ensure there are appropriate repercussions in place for false reporting of exports, to strengthen Canada's manifest reporting process for container ships departing our ports, and to increase the frequency of verifying the contents of shipping crates. As a member of Provincial Parliament in Brampton, Ontario, I can say firsthand how detrimental the impact of auto thefts have been felt in our community. Not only is this crime a financial burden to hardworking Ontarians, but it has created a sense of uneasiness and anxiety in our community. How can you go to sleep at night with your family when you're worried that your car might be stolen right out of your driveway? This cannot be tolerated any longer. And Ontario will continue to work with our partners, municipal and federal, and make sure that we're doing our part to ensure our tough on crime approach. We have no sympathy or remorse for criminals stealing vehicles, and our message to criminals is very clear. Ontarians are fed up, and your time is limited. Thank you.
Great, thank you, MPP McGregor. Now I'd like to invite His Worship, Mayor Patrick Brown, to come say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Ickwinder, and what a great day here in Peel Region. You know, a few days ago, my wife asked me, "What do you want for Father's Day?" And I said, actually, I just want a scanner. I want Dominic to bring us a scanner. So thank you, Dominic, for getting my wife off the hook of trying to find a $3.5 million scanner. But I gotta give Dominic credit here, and you know, he's been so collaborative since he took over the position of Minister of Public Safety. He made a commitment when he was in Brampton a few weeks ago that he was going to get a scanner here before summer. And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I know there was a few officials that said that wasn't possible. But what I love about Dominic is you didn't accept that answer. You said we need this scanner, and we're going to find a way to get it here, and he has. You know, a few days ago I was at the Port of Newark, where they have a scanner that's deployed, and I saw how powerful it was. You know, we've got some incredible police officers with the Peel Regional Police, and one of the brightest minds in auto theft in the country is Nick Minelovich. And what Nick has always told me was organized crime is sophisticated. They use modern technology at a pace that we can barely keep up with. And if we're going to combat organized crime, we need to use that same technology. And there I was in Newark looking at the busiest commercial port in the United States, and they were showing me, and they said pretty bluntly, if there's stolen goods, it's not going to get out of our port. And they gave me examples. Literally in front of my eyes, they said, this shipping container says that as household goods, we're going to scan it for density. And just like that, they realized it wasn't household goods, it was stolen cars. And they took the cars out of the shipping container. They actually called one of the owners back and said, we got your car back. That's the power of this technology. And so, you know, Minister Kara was a bit modest saying this is one tool in the toolkit. This is a very powerful tool. This scanner is a game changer. I hope we're going to have the capacity to handle the volumes we have in Peel Region, because I really believe this scanner you see behind me sends a message to organized crime that if you think it's easy to get stolen goods out of the CN Intermodal Hub or the CP Intermodal Hub, if you think you can get it out of our country with ease, that's not going to be the case anymore. You know, Dominic has always said it's about orders of government, not levels of government, because we all have to work together. And in municipal governance, we're agnostic on partisan politics. We just want to find solutions. And I look at this scanner, and it's a solution. And I'm excited that the tide could be turning right now in auto thefts. You know, we got a police helicopter coming with the province to hunt down organized crime if they try to go on the 401. Now we have a scanner that's going to stop organized crime if they try to put stolen goods in these shipping containers. Today's a good day. Today is a good day. So I want to thank the Government of Canada for stepping up with the scanner for the GTA. I want to thank Minister LeBlanc for being so personally engaged on this file. Wonderful news to get on Father's Day. So thank you on behalf of the residents of the city of Brampton. I can't wait to hear the reports of how this scanner is going to find stolen goods and shipping containers in the near future. Thank you so much.